Link is
Thank
gonna
you.
link.
Yeah.
Got the book.
I first heard the word COZSNUG. I believe it was Ken was pronouncing it COZSNUG at the time.
COZSNUG.
COZSNUG, and I immediately heard it and thought, well, no, that would harmonize better at COZSNUG. It would just blend better into a more singular thing.
Look how effortlessly you just said that. COZSNUG.
And I didn't, without even any thought at all, really. It just sort of came out of my mouth. and I was like, this is a word that the world needs. And that's when I was like, let's figure out how to make this a thing. Let's figure out how to make this into an experience that can improve the experiences of people that even get to witness it, much less participate, you know?
Oh, that's so beautiful. I love the way you said that.
Let's all be examples.
Yes, exactly.
And that's not saying let's all be this perfect shining thing, you know, but let's all have our perfect shining thing to be, the head of, say I know what I'm talking about, in this field, and I can help, or I can, and if there's somebody that knows more, teach me so that I can, proliferate further.
Yeah.
It's about knowledge and information and resource sharing, to a large degree. Being able to, have people's interest in, what you're already, trying to be, and being able to figure out how to do old things in new ways that are, a little bit more ecologically sound.
Ooh.
At a social level as well as a environmental level. Like there's there's a lot that we can be doing just as a matter of picking more positive perspectives to approach from. Like that all human interaction should be healing in intent. I don't feel like that hard of a thing to get behind and support is a hard to have it cause any sort of a negative attrition. It's just a matter of keeping on top of the idea and reinforcing it enough, and basically kind of giving it its own marketability, being able to stand for ideas and represent the concepts of higher vibration and frequency. It's like advertising for counter programming, throwing words out there on repetitive status. It's like for the subliminal stuff that we've been dealing with out consent or knowledge of until documents get leaked and or declassified eventually. And we find out, oh man, well maybe if they've been doing it like this for this long, I get the idea that maybe we should be doing it without being subterfuge about it and just blast people with positive messages.
What's that do with my music?
Yeah. I've heard it in a lot of music these days. Like LS Dream's got some really pretty cool stuff. A lot of this Bass Nectar comeback stuff's been really, really light oriented. Dekai's always very conscientious about how he's producing his things a lot of the time.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, that's just people that I know of. There's probably thousands more artists that are approaching things with intentionality and purpose, again, without being less about the transactionalization. And it's the kind of music you think, oh, I need a Woojer for this. Good headphones and.
Tell everybody what a Woojer is. So now you've already you mentioned that word.
Tactile subwoofer kind of thing, like what they call it, transducers.
Yeah, like where?
So it translates sound into direct vibrations. So it's like standing in front of a big old subwoofer stack at a concert, but you can barely hear anything except for sometimes when it rattles in the case if you turn it up too much.
That was the thing over the weekend.
You wear it?
They put on.
Yeah, the
the
strap,
hard
you put it on however you want. Anything you can strap. I like to put it on the back of my head. Right at the base of the spine, and it's like, yeah. It loosens up the equilibrium.
That was the thing in Duchesne, right? The thing on the chest.
Yeah,
that thing is
there's they're fun things. I don't recommend them for like a lot of cymatics or constant high output frequencies because I have totally destroyed a few. These vaporized parts off of the circuit board that to pick them up to unsolder and to pick it off. It was just dust. I was like, oh,
Nice.
never mind. But yeah, the COZSNUG thing, it caught mine, just automatically resonated with me on that term, and I've been just trying to expand upon it since.
Pretty emphasis.
Share the story of where this geo came from?
Are you done? Or is that
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so I think it was right after the first-ish ayahuasca ceremony, around the time we did the Bear Lake ceremony. I came back with Kira and we went into Earthly Awakenings with like Chance and like just a whole group of us. And we were looking around and I saw that quartz crystal inside the amethyst. I was like, that's quartz, isn't it? It's like, that's rare. Isn't that rare? I thought that was.
And blue lace agate.
And blue lace agate in there?
Like in the crust of it, like all the way around.
Oh, no way. Yeah, so I saw that and she's like, do you want that for your birthday? And I was like, get out of here. And she's like, I'll buy that for you for your birthday. So she bought that for me for my birthday.
That's fun.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's very great.
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't know I had the blue lace agate.
The whole thing's crusted in it.
Yeah, that's insane. I saw that white and I was like,
Well, that's really an incredible formation. How many layers there are?
That's really, really fun. That's really cool. And look at that. If you look at it in this shape right here, that thing's in the shape of a heart.
oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, I didn't even notice that.
It's embedded in there in the form of a heart. Look at that.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Straight up heart.
Yeah, I plan on using this in a few more ceremonies. But yeah, this is pretty powerful stone.
It's got some holes on it.
Hey, so tonight we wanted to go back to the roots a little bit. When we first did our very first COZSNUG night, we were asking each other the questions to empower our empathy. And one of those questions was, hey, what's something that you're proud of in your life? And why? And when we did that, I thought, wow, this is so powerful that we would really ask each other these questions and really try to actively listen to each other and receive each other's uniqueness, by listening to each other's unique stories. And so, what do you guys think about doing that tonight? Again, where we just think of something that we're really proud of, and we describe why we're proud of that thing. What do you guys think? Down, Lee? You down, Frankie? Okay. All right, so something that you're proud of.
Me? Start off?
Oh my gosh, this pineapple plate for starters.
Oh, very proud of being able to
Oh my gosh,
cut
look
this
at
pineapple.
this amazingness
Oh.
for it.
Really?
I brutalated it.
Wow. Thank you. Wow.
It was really, really pineapple.
Oh my, that is so
It was amazing.
Huh? Right, Billy?
It was amazing.
Yeah, that was a good one.
So just something we're proud of. And what?
And why?
Yeah, like something that you're proud of in your life.
Like I'm really proud of how far I've grown and how much I've learned. And being able to be compassionate with myself and understanding how much I've gone through and stuff to be able to just be who I am today, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, being allowed to have compassion for myself, even though sometimes it may be hard. I'm very proud for how far I've grown, and yeah,
It's beautiful.
yeah.
It's so beautiful. I get it. Hell yes.
Come a
How
long
far you've
way.
come, girl. You've come a long way. Here we are. My friend John.
Well, when you look,
John,
when you look back,
throw out. Go ahead, Nick.
when you look back and see how dark some of those shadows are, you're just like, whoa. Yep, definitely in better places.
Well, it's cool to know, like, you have been through all of these things, and you see your past, and you're like, holy shit, like, if I can do all that and still be here today, like, how far can I go moving forward?
Oh yeah.
You know?
I was thinking about the same thing when you initially asked that. Was things I'm proud of is that my spiritual journey and everything that has to do with my medicine quest, helping people. Helped over 30 some odd plus people at the portal with addictions to pills, meth, cocaine, heroin, alcohol. I mean, there's just a lot of different things, but when it comes to me being proud is the fact that I've been 8 years clean from heroin and opiates and 7 years and 3 months sober from alcohol.
Nice.
So,
Congratulations.
Yeah, I lost over 100 pounds and then just continuing on that. So that's what I'm like. It makes me proud to see that, going from like size 52, 32 to 36, 32, and just substantial life changes because of that spirituality. And now it's paying off, like helping. It's just a rewarding feeling, like because I just heard today that Cassie's gonna have a meeting this next week, get into her Section 8, so they're gonna have their own space. They're gonna have their own house again.
Oh, nice.
So I'm gonna be able to like get back to me and like recharge, and like be able to start doing my music again, and just have me time again. You know what I mean? I'm just like super grateful for that. It's been a lot of lessons and like lessons in patience that I've had to learn, but it's been I feel like it's gonna be rewarding in the end. Pretty badass.
It's wild that you say that, because I feel like I've been going through, like, the opposite journey as you. Like, you're, like, really excited for alone time and you time, and I'm like, I need more social time. Like, I'm like, so I feel like what is trying to come through right now is just like being grateful. Like, I should be grateful for my alone time,
Yeah.
and potentially be grateful for time that you have with the people that you
Oh,
are
yeah.
around. You know,
Oh yeah.
is
I love that. You're a big ball of like. You're always emanating. Like I think of that when I'm grateful for my association with you because every single time I think of you, I think of every part of you exudes the fact that we ought to be grateful in life, don't we?
And that comes from presence. She's
A phenomenal energy.
not out in the stars. She's paying attention.
Yes, thank you for being you, for everything you've done up to this point.
that's cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah. If you wanna, were you gonna go to ayahuasca? Because if you want to be social, there's ayahuasca ceremonies. They're pretty beautiful. I think we're going in September. Possible.
Well, start panning for people who didn't make it last time.
Yeah. If you're down anyway, it's open.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think that's the 9th of September. 9/9.
Oh, it's a good day.
So
Yeah.
it's still in like 30 days.
Yep.
It's in a month.
Never hear about these soon
You're
enough.
already ready, pretty much.
Just about,
Yeah.
actually.
Hell yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, okay. Well, I might do that again then.
I don't know. Just doing my vision quest.
What's something you're proud of, Lee? In your life, what's something you're proud of that you've done? Whether it was all the way back or all the way now.
I don't know. There's a lot of little things along the way, a few big things. Recently though, let's keep things recent, so it's not like past loops.
Let's keep the loop.
Those are too big a loops to be
Keep
doing.
that little
this
past
like
loop
that. I don't know. I guess lately I would say I'm proud of just making decisions and making them right.
Like feeling good about the fact that, hey, I'm making decisions for my life and I feel like I'm making them.
Oh yeah, and not being hesitant about it or anything. Like there's been a lot of things lately where I've just been like this direction, that direction.
And before it was like,
Which one? I guess I'm gonna go this way, and then still be distracted off.
not as much clarity.
Well, not as much presence because it's just like, well, what else was there going? And lately, I've just been able to, just wherever I'm at, like, you hope if you're not there, man, good luck, because I'm not paying a lot of attention to my phone. Like, yeah, it takes me a few hours sometimes to catch up things. Then.
That's very. Thank you for sharing that. I would be proud too of that.
I'm really proud of kind of the same vein as Frankie. I'm really proud of my own growth. I've been very, honest, I've been very brave. If you met me 6 or 7 years ago, the idea of sitting in a circle talking with five or more people would fill me with complete dread, and it would shut me down. I'd implode. It's a total social anxiety kind of thing. I didn't put any labels on it, but it was certainly the case where this would never have even been in my imagination 6 years ago. So I'm so proud of myself to have been so willing to go and receive new information outside of my family's paradigms or everything I've been taught. I was really glad I was willing to take that step to just jump off the ledge and get out of your comfort zone. Anytime you feel stuck anywhere, it's so scary to get out of it, but it's always better. It's pretty much always.
Yeah, every time you take that step, it's like, man, why didn't I do this a month ago
Right.
or a year ago?
Oh,
Or,
wow, I was holding on. Why did I procrastinate?
When you say that comfort zone thing, it reminds me of that video with the rabbi talking about the lobster. Have you seen that? He was talking about how like he was bored one day, like a doctor's office. He picked up this Nature magazine, was reading it, and he's like, reading about lobsters and how they grow and develop. He's like, I wasn't really too interested in it, but then I saw a really powerful lesson in it, where the lobster, it lives inside of the shell. The shell, it starts to become constricting. It doesn't expand with the growth of the lobster. So it's this mushy little creature inside of the shell. Well, it starts to become really, really uncomfortable. It goes through a lot of pain. And so what it has to do is it has to go underneath the rock where it's completely safe from predators, and it breaks off that shell. Then it develops another one. Then it goes back out until it gets uncomfortable again. He said that the main thing that he thought was the powerful lesson is that the stimulus for growth was discomfort. So like you push through that uncomfort, that unknown, and once you're there though, you have all this more room for growth and expansion, just like the lobster. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Inside we are just kind of mushy.
Right.
We got a lot of
Right.
emotions in there.
no, I've definitely found a lot more comfort and discomfort in the last year and a half.
Oh yeah.
Like things get real, just and it's awkward and strange, and I'm just like, this is sweet. This
Then when you
is-
push through
this
it, you
is-
feel
now,
good
now,
afterwards.
now we got a different bunch of things to navigate instead of just coasting all the time.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Got a mission.
Mission to understand all the perspectives and how they yeah, create those jumbles and stumbles.
This is a different way to live life. Seeking out different perspectives. Isn't it?
Isn't that the way everybody does it?
It is
Isn't that the way we're supposed to do
Oh,
it?
oh.
Hero's journey.
Right?
We're all the heroes, not just Hercules.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Exactly. Everybody's got their own little version of hero in there.
Something fucked up usually happens at somebody's point in life, which causes this huge change, and then they start living life in a different way.
Yeah, all the time.
You know, like all Disney movies, like basically they start out with like the loss of a family member. And then it's like, you know, they have to do this journey or this big, huge thing afterwards after the loss, and it changes. That's the hero's journey, it was basically. Or like
You gotta
Rick
die.
Wilcock explains that.
And when I had been doing a lot of like, when I was kind of playing around with psychedelics early on, I remembered having this psychological breakthrough where I recognized that I had all this fear of disappointing my father, and like it was completely changing the way I saw my life. And I saw this, and I thought, wow, that's so amazing! I just got through this. But it was like I was so interesting because it was so much just like it was cliche almost, where it was like, oh, I'm getting through it's just like a hero journey. I found this thing out, it broke down the system, and then you rebuild it and you go and relive your life differently. And it was like, I lived my life completely differently in a day, and I was like, I didn't know that actually happened. I thought that was just in movies, where you could have something event happen where you change your life.
Hell yeah, for sure. Yeah, that changing the heroin thing. Like there were people who are like, you know, it's not like ayahuasca is gonna go and be like the thing that cures you of your heroin addiction. Well, it really was.
Yeah.
It really was. I saw it in
Say,
that body. And I was like,
you can create and plan those days. You can totally create them. Once you know what they are and how they work and stuff, it gets a lot easier too.
Let's talk a little bit more about that, because last week that's all we talked about was creating our days, manifesting, how to manifest, how to manifest. Let's talk more about that for a second.
Sure, I think the easiest ways to start there is ask yourself, why do I get up in the morning? For what reason? What am I excited about during the day? Well, what exactly are you doing when you got to bed? What are you looking for?
Want to know what works better than that?
What?
Telling yourself why you get up in the morning.
Exactly.
That's
The
yes.
subconscious will make that the reality instead of the question. It'll be a thing.
Yeah.
You command it.
Yeah.
You do it enough times, it
Yeah.
becomes the truth. Just watch the news, man. People believe all kinds of dumb shit.
for real.
You're absolutely right. It's way more powerful because once you have that clarity, you just start.
Well, that's what I'm getting back to. Is like we can subliminally program ourselves
Yeah.
just as effectively as we've been subjected to, but with our own intent, and not it's
Well, we're
1,000
already
times more
doing
powerful.
that.
Yeah.
We're doing that 24/7.
Well, whether we even realize it or not, but if you don't, then you become subject to the whatever trash and garbage you pick up that you're going to self-talk into along the way if you're not like intentional about it.
Right.
So, breakdown though is understanding where all those other thoughts and things are coming from that you're not wanting to manifest.
Mhm.
Maybe you could. Oh,
Sure, absolutely. Let's talk about negative experience and why we manifest it.
I would say it's because of the law of attraction. Whatever we focus on, we manifest. So if we're always constantly focusing on something negative, we're going to manifest that negativity.
Oh yeah. This Earl Nightingale's strangest secret in the world basically says the same thing. If we become what we think about, what we're thinking about, says that we are what we think about. So the man who has a goal and a purpose and is happy, he will become a successful, happy person. But someone who's not sure where they're going in life, doesn't have any goals, and he's always worried and anxious, and that's what his life's going to become, is a life filled with stress, anxiety, and anxiousness. So it's like just the focus on the goal. And another thing that's like a video.
That's why I quit mainstream news and social media, because like it was overnight. I was like, life was more relaxed and just less extra
Less distractions,
distraction
less things to-
and
Oh yeah.
worthless information.
This is external focus.
Yeah, and there's another video that came through is talking about what this guy who doesn't believe that the law of attraction is 100% accurate. He says that you already are that frequency. So all you have to do, the thing that's making it so that you don't manifest it is, not that you can't manifest it, is that you're blocking that from becoming yourself by the thoughts that you're having. So if you change the thoughts, you open those blockages, and then you become that frequency, but you have to believe it, like Dr. Joe Dispenza says. If you envision your desired reality and you feel it with an elevated emotion, you replace that negative thought process. You're like, oh, I am going to do that. And you feel it, and you're like, oh, this is what I'm doing. I'm swimming by the pool. I'm like doing this and I'm doing that. You're literally vibrating at that frequency like it's already happened. So you clear those blockages so the universe goes out of its way to conspire in your favor to make it.
Yeah. The objective formula for it is thoughts create your beliefs, and your beliefs determine your emotions. So if you can, dictate the beliefs that create the emotions, well, then you could consciously, figure out your own manifesto type stuff. Just start writing your own philosophy, and it becomes your sigil.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Just a new world.
Yeah, and you can totally reprogram yourself and lay out the tools for other people to be able to understand and then see it from a perspective that they can glean their own methods and insights into.
So do you guys have any tools that makes that easier, or like
Yeah.
say there are negative thoughts coming through and you
Yeah.
can't just switch them off?
So
Yes.
if you can identify when those thoughts are coming through, there's a video that I watched where it talks about, like, if you just know that you're feeling those negative thoughts and you're all of a sudden feeling this certain way, if it's like a thought about worry or financial stress, whatever, you immediately replace that with, oh, so then I'm feeling this way. God is my instant and everlasting supply, and all of my needs are met in divine order through divine love. Or if it's something about doubt or failure, like you're not gonna make it, or like you're gonna think
Well,
your
it
dad's.
has, sorry to
No, you're good. You're good.
wouldn't it would have to be with everything, right? Because I mean, if you think about it, sometimes a thought can go into it, like it can start breaking down. Like you could have this negative thought about like, oh, I'm not going to pay this bill, and then you like try and reflect and be like, no, God is with me, whatever. Like I can.
Yeah.
But then there's other thoughts that bounce in to be
Yeah.
like, well, you also need to do this first, or you need to do that first, or
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
So
So,
Can I
one
say
of the-
something about that for you?
yeah.
I think when that's happening, you're holding your breath.
So to
Let me,
just
let me go a little bit further into this. What I learned about myself is that I was almost always holding my breath. In life, just like going around and just like, not like really, like, but you know what I mean, right? Holding my breath, expecting that there might be some kind of a future that's better than my now, or thinking about some past that was better than my now. The thinking process itself is it's running wild when we're just not aware of our breath. So the minute you go to your awareness of your breath, you immediately become one with yourself again, where true strength is developed. Everything in the world is propping up false empowerment. Everything is propping up false empowerment.
well, if you
Until-
look at it that way.
Well, I'm juxtaposing it purposefully right now because the world needs to hear this.
Yeah.
I believe. We could use to nudge ourselves. Everything's okay. Right here and now, everything's okay. Now what do we want to do? I kind of want to nudge us in a direction where we don't have as much violence in the world. Or we don't have kids getting stolen. Or we
Yeah.
don't have stuff, like I want to nudge us in this direction. So we want to do that. That's why we're doing this. Well, the second we become aware of our breath and everything is just okay, now we have access now to the doorway of love, We get the access point of vitality, access point, true strength, juxtaposed to false empowerment. Nothing external can give you what you want. Nothing. Nothing. So until we reconcile that all the way and surrender all the way down to, hey, just accept everything as it is, then we just keep on struggling at whatever level we want to. But really, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Nothing wrong with it because we all go at the pace that we want to. No matter what anybody's at, I can point out every single person in here, and I can point out a shit ton of strengths and a shit ton of weaknesses very quickly and easily. We all could, because we're programmed this way, right? How do we vibrate in an inclusive versus an exclusive way? We've been so exclusively thinking for so long. Exclusively thinking for so long that we're pros at it. Everyone on the planet is a pro at exclusivity. I was a Mormon missionary walking around, knocking on doors. Nosotros somos los misioneros de la iglesia de Jesucristo, de los santos de los últimos días. Queremos entrar a su casa. So we can tell you, we want to enter your house so we can tell you that we have the most important message you could possibly hear. Better than yours. We got a better worldview than you, and you're eventually, I promise, because I read it in the scriptures, every knee will bow and every tongue will confess that Jesus is the Christ. And so, sorry, you're eventually going to come around to my special way of seeing things. I don't know anything except for exclusivity. And I'm just stuck because there seems to be this emptiness in my life. Why do I feel so lonely? Why do I feel so misunderstood? Why do I not feel like people can see me with human dignity? Like, why? And until I learn to just be okay with everything as it is what it is. Now we're starting relatability. You're not a relatable thing if you're not present.
Yeah, in the present moment, the present now.
The present moment is the only place that you start to become a lover, start to become a friend, start to become a human. Every other form is just some watered down thing we're telling ourselves. Most people are looking for love that they might get someday, or thinking about a love that they had. So sad that they won't ever have again.
But to help you with that, the thing,
No.
Alex?
to help you with on
Say
how
hi?
to prevent that, the
You gotta
thoughts
say
and the
hi,
chatter. So, Dr. Joe Dispenza has this really awesome video called "How to Unlock the Unlimited Power of Your Mind." I can text it to you. It's really, really awesome. But in the morning, the first thing you do when you wake up,
I know this exactly.
if you have to go to the bathroom, then immediately go to the bathroom, but don't look at your phone, don't do anything else. If you don't have to go to the bathroom right away, then just set aside 30 minutes to go and meditate and just focus on your breath. And while you're meditating, focusing on your breath, just envision your desired reality, like what you really, really want, a relationship, a successful job, a career, whatever it is that you're passionate about. Imagine that you already have it, and envision yourself as already feeling that you have it. When you feel that elevated emotion, you pull that in for a half hour to an hour, and you invest that time in yourself. When you're done, because you've been focused in that present moment, in the present now, your mind is already in a program instead of the immediate chatter from like, oh, the news and my phone and the text messages and the emails and all this other stuff that just keeps bombarding you. So you can get in that space, and then you get to the spot where if anything does come up, like you get done, and then as soon as you get to the real world, like 30 minutes later, someone says, hey, you're going to pay rent or whatever. Oh, then you can say, you know, God is my instant everlasting supply and all my needs are met in divine order through divine love. And if there's anything else that keeps coming up, anything about doubt or other thoughts that make you feel anything else, there's this thing I can text you that I say to myself for 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes at night, which is, I am born to succeed, I am born to win, the infinite within me will not fail, divine law and order govern my life, and divine peace fills my soul, divine love saturates my mind, and infinite intelligence guides me in all ways. God's riches flow to me freely, joyously, endlessly, ceaselessly. I am advancing, moving forward and growing, mentally, spiritually, financially, and in all other ways. I know these truths are sinking into my subconscious mind, and I know when I believe they will grow after their kind. There's also a video called The Strangest Secret in the World, by Earl Nightingale. He has an exercise where if you follow it and you do it every day for 30 days, your life will completely change.
I think I've got that one on the baseline structure of it.
It's such a phenomenal video. I watch it all the time.
Okay, so how do you dive into consistency?
As soon as you wake up, like set an alarm that has it labeled
I know,
like
but
meditation.
we have people that cannot do that. They're not like, so how do we like break that down even further and dive into full blown how do you work yourself up to motivate yourself to create consistency in order to do those things every single day? Like I've been meditating for I don't know 3 or 4 years now, and it started off slow for me. Like it started off really slow, and it would just be for like 5 minutes was all I could handle, and it would be like once a month maybe, and then slowly but surely it would gain more. I'd do 10 minutes, and it'd be twice a week, and then but sometimes I'd go off the railing. And like I understand compassion and finding compassion with that, but is there maybe any thoughts or tools that we could find to make that hit heavier and stronger with people so they get more motivation?
One thing
quicker
that's like
and
a
sooner.
cue as soon as you wake up in the morning, like print off or like scribble in big bold, make your bed. And then you look up, you wake up and you see that, oh, make your bed. That's a reminder to you, oh, okay, I'm already telling myself that I need to do this while you're making your bed. Okay, now I get to do my meditation. Or like do something that's like,
Draw sigils.
yeah.
Like, it doesn't even have to be spelled out. You could turn it into artwork and just have little sigils posted up all around.
That's
it
a
for
reminder.
different
You wake
things
up,
that-
you
because
see
you
it.
put that conscious intent into, how they're formed. Every time you see it, it's going to reinforce like better than words.
Yeah, you'll be like, oh, meditation. I see that. I need to make my bed, meditate, do whatever. And if you do that right when you wake up, like make your bed and then meditate, that's usually what I do is I make my bed and then I sit on my bed and meditate.
Do you
But,
think having the same routine every single day is like really positive?
oh yeah, at least for 5 or 6 days out of the week, and then like the 7th day, just kind of like take it easy, like on a Saturday or a Sunday. So like what I had myself in a routine of doing was doing the 8-minute abs workout.
I feel like that people could be different though, like because it's everybody's different and
I feel like that if that was true, that I'd probably be in charge of the world right now if I'd have done routines, because 0 ever.
See, how do you work your way
Well,
up
when
to
it comes to
getting
discipline, consistency comes from the beginnings of discipline, where we can really begin a habit. And once again, we come back to
Well, then that's
presence.
just it. It took a lot of discipline to get rid of all of those
Right.
habitual routines.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want them
I
back.
don't want.
It all starts in the present moment. I was just had an example just the other day where my kitchen was messy and it was stressing me out, and I was for a couple of days I was just going around not cleaning it and just stressing out about it, and then I went and did it, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm being so stupid because these hard things that we think that we want in our lives to make our lives better that we're so afraid of doing are over like that once you start them. So it really just comes down to doing the act in the present moment now.
Yeah, it doesn't have to
Starting
be
the
like
pattern going.
completely like the rest of your life. Like I said,
Oh, yeah,
secret or the strangest secret in the world, you can do a 30-day test. Just do it and set your dedication to it for at least 30 days. And then once you're done with that 30 days, whatever you do naturally and you absorb, you'll do that. And you don't have to do the exact set routine, but you'll be in a habit of already doing certain things subconsciously that will
Just
just come
getting it rooted
naturally.
into your patterns, so it's like, I like standing on my head. I got that as a pattern in me now. And I'm really consistent about it. And it's like, it got to a point where it's like, nowadays I don't even have to think about it. It's just like, oh, how long has it been since I've stood on my head? Because it's just this pattern where it's like, that if you do it at all, it'll come up again, and then it can remind you to keep doing it.
So maybe instead of disciplining yourself, because what I've noticed is that I'll do like routines and all of this stuff, and I get bored with it, or I'm just like, my brain is somewhere else. I don't want to do that thing first thing in the morning. I don't want to do that routine. I want to do something else. Like I have all these things to do, so I'll like switch it up and
Yeah.
just move around.
I think
But-
the intention is the most important there. It's not the schedule, it's
Yeah.
the intention. Of like, you can get all your things done, it doesn't matter what order, just gotta get all done.
So something that helped me.
Well, just waking up and maintaining presence and intentionality for like the first hour to 2 hours of the day. You know, like on a, you know, that kind of a determination and
You don't have 2 hours to spend with yourself. Like you literally have a half hour to get ready.
well, it's not taking the time to, it's not being productive or not being in the flow of the day. It's just maintaining that you like turn every freaking finger stroke of your hand into dance, you know, for an hour while you're starting your day.
While you're getting ready.
No, you can turn, like I said, you can turn these into artistic representations. It's the same thing as sigils. You can make the act mean a whole idea.
Even if you're at work,
Mm-hmm.
going to work.
Air
Attention.
Franny, in my experience, it doesn't take a long time. For
Yeah.
example,
Oh,
when you're going into an emotion, there's no need to ride an emotional wave for an hour because they don't
Yeah.
last that long.
Yeah.
They only last 30 to 90 seconds.
If you
When you
choose
dive
to
into
do
it,
that.
if you fully surrender into the emotion, every emotion goes like this. Like all of life. Big bell curve. So if you just ride it and don't deny it at all, take every single emotion that comes and just dive, like really receive it. Like, yes, this is what I was looking for.
Surrender.
Go deep into it. So you surrender
No
first.
matter what.
Surrender, surrender, surrender. Everything is as it is. Now you're in a place where you've followed the river to the now. Now you can river it back out any way you want to because you know where you. So now you're learning how to control where the water goes, essentially, like through your emotion. When you become one with the emotion, you become one with everything as it is.
Have you ever tried to fight a
The more
DMT trip?
intense the emotion is, the more you bring it to yourself now. It's in direct
Same
proportion to how
concept.
emotional you know you get it now. The belief that you know you get it now and emotionally charge it, that's just how you manifest. So we're learning how to close that loop and get out of our heads. We've been thinking so much and we think we're right. And we're all full of shit. Everyone's full of shit. And they talk like they're right. And so I'm just talking with my ego sitting here talking. That's how we talk. We have to try to learn how to partner it up and become one with our awareness, our observer, our higher self, whatever you want to call it. It's us. It's right here. We're here. It's anytime we want to access it. It's right now. It's our true self. It's right here, right now. It's always right here. And so every single time I think that there needs to be something done in order for me to feel some better way, now I know from enough experience, I know it's like a form of, it's almost like ridiculousness to me now, because I know that I'm just getting in my own way at that exact moment. Oh yeah, I want these limitations. Oh yeah, I just go back to just, to make it easy on myself, rather than having to think that I had to navigate my anxiety a certain way. I just got to the point where I said, I want to just learn how to become a receptive thing instead of a resistant thing.
Yeah.
Let all of my vibration become receptive to every single ounce of every single bit of data that you've accumulated so far. If I'm receptive to all that, then I'm adding you to me. And now I'm actually relatable. Like I can co-create with you, we can do cool stuff, and now I'm not in the way of it. Otherwise, I am just in the way of it in some form, just like you go into, I've been in consulting companies now for almost 2 decades. They're all the same. They're all just propping up a bunch of false empowerment and a bunch of opportunities to make money. Here you guys, here's the best form we got so far, transactionalizing relationships. Now we're just moving beyond that. We're just saying, hey, all right, we get it. We see all that, but we also now see the actual specific words that could actually just get us all out of that. And we're starting to say them. Hey, here's how you become more relatable. Empower your own empathy. Become COZSNUG. When you process through this kind of stuff, you let go of duality. You let go of your attachments to polarity, to the idea that everything's right and wrong, appropriate and inappropriate, good and bad, that somebody needs to learn a lesson, that somebody needs to vindicate, and there's certainly someone needs to pay for that. Justice needs to. Well, if everything's okay in the now, what really needs to be done? What you want. What's your heart telling you what you want to do right now?
But
Everybody's
there-
denying doing what they want.
But I mean, but if you do that, what about the thoughts that come along with, like, say, addiction and hurtful and subconscious wants that because you're programmed, because that's how you were raised.
Right.
You break free from that.
I'm becoming
That's
very
what we're all
aware
doing
lately.
constantly, right?
I've been becoming very aware lately of patterns based around. And what I've really noticed is that all of these negative patterns are triggered by some kind of trauma in the past. You have something happened in the past that gave you some kind of thought form, that gave you a certain view of how the world works. And so anytime something activates that again, it's going to give that exact same response to that negative experience you don't want anymore. So now you're going to try to react in a way where you don't receive that negative response that you were trying to avoid again. So it really comes down to just being mindful of, like, so if somebody triggers you in a situation, there's probably a lot more going on with that person. That person had no idea that there might have been triggering that inside of you. There's a lot more going on in their own story and their own protections and your protections. So it's like, it really just comes down to being more mindful of, when you act on these kind of impulses, are you being aware of the whole story, or are you, acting on that impulsive emotion that only is just kind of here and just this, or is it kind of spread out to see the bigger picture?
Reacting.
And that's way easier said than done, I know.
Yeah, definitely.
That kind of reminds me of the story that's like this guy who's on the subway. It's like about paradigm shifts and like changes of perspective and perception. But he's got two kids that are running around. They're being really loud and they're like, kids playing with each other on the subway. And there's this guy who like is over there trying to read his newspaper. And finally, he's like, "Excuse me, do you mind? People are here trying to get home from work. And, like your kids are out. Like like you should, And he's like looks all down. He just looks at it and says, "Hey, I'm really sorry. I just got out of the doctor's office. I'm trying to tell them. I'm trying to figure out the best way to tell them that their mother died." And then that guy's like, "Oh,
Right.
complete paradigm shift." He's like, "Oh shit, I'm sorry for being inconsiderate," and like
Yeah.
there's like a whole other thing changes because it's like you don't know where they're coming from or the whole
We
story.
never do. Yeah, we're so unaware of the fact that we're all having this impact on each other. Sometimes that impact is huge.
Yeah.
And we're just so unaware of it because we're just so stupid still that we don't know about our impact. And that impact is affecting everything everywhere.
Oh yeah.
It's a wild one. Multi-layered and very complex one.
That's what love
Oh yeah.
has been teaching me, is to become aware of my impact. I mean, in life, I'm going back and I'm trying to say sorry to people that for anything at all. If you're upset with me about anything, that's information for me. Why would that trigger me?
Yeah.
Why would I be a triggerable human when there's information to still be had about this? I mean, why not have peace on that thing? Why not have clarity on that thing? Why not move beyond? Why not be able to be untethered from it? It's such an interesting thing. It's so paradoxical that we have to untether from everything to surrender. Everything. You got to let go of all your attachments. If you got a belief in your head, you got a religion of one. There's nothing wrong with it. That's how it works. But you just have a religion of one. And I promise your religion can change. You're not right about the way it is for everybody else. It's just is what it is. And so now how am I going to actually operate inside of all this? Well, if I just get to the point where I learn how to become receptive, then all of a sudden I start to find out these little subtle ways in which every person around me has been giving me little pieces that put my stuff together. So magical, so beautiful. The way we're all here actually helping each other. And we're all helping each other. That's what this is all about. Nobody leads this. This is us just coming together and being a network of people who just say, hey, this is something that we can start to value now. Relatability instead of propping up false empowerment. Because it's kind of obvious that we're ready for graduating beyond the immaturity. All the things that we've been intentioning underneath false empowerment, I know this is all the things we've been intentioning, they lack the ability to give us peace of mind. They lack all the good stuff, all the best parts of life. They're just so, I don't know how to put it into words yet, but I've gained a lot of clarity in my own world of how to tap into my own true strength instead of believing in any ounce of the amount, any amount of the false empowerment that I have my whole entire life. Pieces of it, here and there, constant, everything. It's just everything is propped up that way. Inside of my really fundamentalist mind, that there's no option but false empowerment there, because I had to have an external savior to save me. This thing outside of me. When we don't understand that everything's all right here happening inside, and we don't take our awareness back inside, we're propping up our own false empowerment. We're self-sabotaging in that exact moment. We're just not being brave enough to live the life that we want to live. So that's why we're doing what we're doing. We're like, hey, let's empower our empathy. Let's like sit around. Let's listen to each other's stories. This is okay. We're all equals here. Nobody's better than anybody else. But I have to tell you right now, you got skills I don't have, and I got skills you don't have. That's pretty obvious. Why don't we like assimilate and like level up? Because it seems like how efficiently could I garner all that, you know?
I feel like understanding for it would be helpful for people to understand that your healing and your thought process and your thoughts that are changing and who you're becoming and your anger, it's gonna be there all the time. It's like a consistent work effort. And to understand that and grasp that concept can be very hard for people to like link into and not get emotional about, because it can be so overwhelming.
Yeah.
So just understanding, like being so acceptive of it, like I accept that these thoughts and these feelings and emotions and work and everything, it's going to be a constant flow. You know, it's never ending. You know, it'll be that way till the day you go, you know. And maybe like grasping onto that emotion of acceptance could help people get through whatever they're going through more compassionate and understanding.
Yeah, like being nicer to ourselves.
Yeah.
Definitely could
It's time for us to be nicer to ourselves, yeah.
make it passable more gracefully.
We've been beating ourselves up for a long time. We've been really super violent. That's what the world's been. There's a lot of violence and blood and all that. And we're beyond that now. We're moving beyond the violence. The way that it has to be that. It has to be that.
As a whole, we are, but there's still so many people, like I see on a daily basis, that are, you know, on different paths and different journeys. And once that thought of awareness hits them, it's like, I know when it hit me, it was, I felt like I went psychotic, you know? Like, you feel like you go fucking crazy.
Wait, I have to accept all.
I think everybody feels that when they get there.
We have to become comfortable in a place of uncertainty. Hell no.
Oh, yeah?
Hell no.
So how do you take that and be like, this is gonna be okay, even though you know you're dealing with fucking 20 to 30, whenever it hits
Among other
you,
points.
could hit you at 50 years old, you know?
Right?
That's 50 years
Oh.
of fucking past trauma and non-awareness.
When you say it like that, it
What
sounds so
you-
terrifying.
Or 52 years. Thank you, Frankie. Yes, I know.
Yeah, but at the same time, to know, like, once you get through that, and once you accept that, just fucking go in there and just accept it.
Like a brave
Just
badass.
fucking-
Fucking face your shit.
Yeah, but
face it.
It's scary.
It's scary at first, but when you
so
do it,
scary, but
oh, the liberation is just like, what? I was holding on to what?
yeah.
It's like I was that fucking ridiculous. I was that childish to not care enough to, wow.
But then you even have compassion over those emotions, because then you could get yourself right back in there.
Yeah, you're your own best screenplay writer.
Yeah. Yes.
I'd kind of like to circle us back a little bit. We're kind of getting close to our end time here. I'd love to know if anyone else has anything. Alex, you got here right. We asked the question, what are you most proud of?
Or
and
just
why?
something that you're proud
Or
of.
something that you're proud of and why. Yeah, that's all.
Let's see. That's a tough one. I guess lately I'm most proud of myself for getting in the gym more often and more regularly. You know, for a while I was kind of going intermittently. I'd go in spurts and be like, you know how Dad does it. He'll just go at it for a couple days and then lose steam and then
Right. It's not,
Kind of
consistent.
get
Yeah,
lax
yeah,
with
the
it.
big
And then,
fire that
yeah, I would
burns
like
out
I would go
the
for a
consistency.
week and then I'd not go for the rest of the month. And since I've been going a lot more often, I've been at least 3-4 times a week this last month or two.
So we were talking about that earlier. What did you notice your like tipping point or your transition into where it became, you get all this fuel to go for
Yeah.
once a
We're talking
week,
about consistency.
Mm.
How do you feel you became consistent?
The only thing that's helped me be consistent is having a friend I go with. I had to ask for help. So I was gonna say, buddy system.
Amen.
You
Yes,
need
it
help.
helps. Yes, that's why we're here right now. This is we
I'll
gotta
text
get
your ass every
relatable,
morning.
yes.
Hey, are you gonna meditate? Yeah.
It makes it so much easier when we're doing it together.
You gonna get up?
You guys
and
are stuck. Right? You guys
make
just
your bed?
quit smoking cigarettes recently, right?
Yeah, it's been 15
Wow.
days for me.
15 days in a couple days.
I'll be like 48 hours here in another hour or two.
Hell yeah.
Wouldn't it go easier if you had like 10 people doing it with you?
Absolutely.
How could it not? It's like, hey, you got like people to talk to all day, and like, oh my God, right now it's just like, I mean, you at least then have something to take your attention to instead of
Well, that and
lack of my nicotine.
you've now created a social network or a social entity in which an example can be provided.
It's a system of
You know,
accountability.
so you've become not only being held accountable, but you also become a position to where your idealist self is a role model. So it makes it easy to do that.
everybody's just helping, everybody naturally. Yeah, it's so beautiful.
Recognize the tools for what they are.
You go for all your products?
Yeah, Kelly.
Guess maybe. Probably breaking free from my sovereign citizen stuff. That's probably what I'm most proud of.
Because of how difficult it was, or what was it?
Because I guess it was a big weight off my back because the whole time you're in that mentality, you're living a paranoid and fearful life, and it just is draining. You're always out. You're thinking that there's some ulterior plan by the government and shit that they're trying to actively go after you. And things that it's not necessarily true. There are certain things that the government's actively doing. It's like what the hell. For the most part, it's just a lot of conspiracy theory stuff blended in with law. So you're getting all this fake information about the law, but you're also learning about the cabal that rules the world, the NWO, the Illuminati. You're all learning all that stuff at the same time. It's like it's just
Limited hangout.
diluted hangout.
Limited hangout.
Limited hangout. Yeah.
Where they use a system of information to proliferate a bunch of bullshit with it and disinformation and it's like
Yeah, that's a good way to.
that's like the textbook framework for some psyop disinformation.
Yeah, I agree with that. Since I've gotten out of that mentality and that way of thinking about life, I considered it a psyop. And it's kind of interesting because my dad, he's the one who got me into it, and his best friend was allegedly ex-CIA. And if it is a psyop, then it makes a lot of sense why that guy was preaching the things that he was preaching, because it's a psyop. It's there to get people hooked on certain things because there's half-truths to it.
Well, you send people down the rabbit holes, and they're like, how many of them are gonna realize, how far down they are before they realize, God damn it, I gotta climb out of this fucking thing.
Yeah. I was in it for 10 years.
I was there for about 5-6 years.
I was in it for 10 years, so
I was like 15, 20.
it that's probably the thing I'm the most proud of, because being free from it gave me a perspective that all of the mainstream conspiracy shit that everybody knows now because of QAnon, been there, done that. It's old news and it's all bullshit. Nobody can prove anything without any of it. So why waste any time on it?
Well, my thought on the whole thing was like, it really doesn't fucking matter if there's people intentionally behind the fucking messes that we're in right now. We can see the goddamn messes. Let's fucking fix them.
How do you fix them?
Yeah.
We got this.
Like, you guys want to go on a fucking, crazy ass witch hunt and fucking get the pitchforks and the stupid shit. Fucking all the more power to you. But I mean, you're gonna, at the end of the day, you're just lemming yourself off the cliff.
And you're
Like-
repeating
like,
the same cycle. You're not changing anything. You're
Yeah.
revolving around orbiting the same mentality of
Scarcity and fear.
They have more money than us, so they're bad, or whatever reason someone wants to create. They're still repeating that cycle of violence and dissociation, because we all come from the same source. We're all different, but we all come from the same place. Ultimately, whatever you want to call it, God, the Creator, whatever, we come from that source. So why are we promoting these divisive behaviors? And it was really, word escapes me, not relaxed, like relieving. Yeah, there it is. It was really relieving to drop all that what's the word?
The dogma,
The dogma and
the
that
fundamentalism, the beliefs, the
and that,
thinking.
and that vile, selfish behavior of thinking that because I was taught by somebody on the internet that I have the right to travel, that I can go in and tell a judge that he's wrong. And then I bring in court cases that have nothing to do with it, and he tells me they have nothing to do with it, and I still tell him he's wrong. Like, I'm so glad I dropped that mentality. Like,
Why, Kelly? I don't understand.
I'm calling someone out specifically without calling out their name, but like I witnessed that after I'd broken free, and it blew me away. I'm like, wow, like, why are you being belligerent in their system? You know it's their system. Why are you acting this way? Like, where's the benefit? If you're all about brotherhood and light and love, how are you doing any of that by being belligerent?
Where's the fruits of the light and love right now?
Yeah.
Right now. Where's the fruits right now? Oh, you downloaded Kung Fu? All right, show me. Right?
So,
it's like back to the Matrix.
The thing that helped me out the most that I was going to say earlier in regards to like what you brought up with just your example of bills is mindfulness. Just being, I guess, aware, and like mindfulness is, okay, well, in your bills example, the bills, they're always going to come. They might be more, they might be less. That is just a fact of life. I need to be mindful of that. Once I'm mindful of that, I can accept it and say, okay.
Then it
Now-
doesn't become a stress, it just becomes a data point.
Exactly.
There is a bill that is paid or
And
is not
now,
paid.
What do I need to do in order to make that payment, and what do I need to do? So for me personally,
Should I pay or let it go?
just the
About paying
mindfulness.
I like that. So the mindfulness also of holding on to the concept of, I know that I'm always provided for. I know that I will always receive as much as I need to receive. So if you have all of these bills and you are actually putting in some type of work and effort, you're not just fucking sitting on your ass, those bills are going to get paid. You are going to get fed.
Yeah.
I've never been short of anything in my whole entire life, no matter what position I was in, and I've lived in a fucking backyard with my 3 siblings in a tent before. Like, I was still fed. I still had somewhere to sleep. You still, even if it's outside, you know, but I was a child, so like I couldn't do anything about that situation. But as I was older, I still always had my bills paid. No matter what happened, and I think it was just I wasn't even aware of that concept that was going to be provided for me. But I don't think, I mean, yeah, sometimes it can be a huge struggle but I still think that you will always be fed and some sort of shelter, as long as you're putting in some sort of effort and
Agree.
like willing to live, maybe, you know, like willing to survive.
You're like, I guess I'm still here. I'm not gonna kill myself today. Yep, I'm gonna live.
Yeah.
Well, why am I gonna do it?
And
Religion,
something happens.
religion likes to, when their shenanigans come to the light, they just try to rely on faith, and that's stupid. But at the same time, faith is really all we have.
It
Very
is.
powerful.
Faith is the most powerful magic in the world. That's why you've got all these religions in the world saying, "Give us all of your faith, and all magic is evil otherwise." You know, like it's they're monopolizing the whole energetic fucking aspect of reality in a way that's really, you know, just as incapacitating as any drug wars or human habits that we've ever had.
Right. So yeah, mindfulness and just faith to my own beliefs, because I've always kind of been a loner, and so I kind of created a synchronetic belief system.
You're not a
for myself.
loner anymore, though, Kelly. You know that, right?
I mean,
Look, you got
I'm hanging
come
out
down
with
here
people,
regularly
but
all the time.
I'm still a loner in the sense of the stuff I'm trying to do. Like, my buddies bailed out on me years ago, and it's like, shit.
Well,
But,
not a full loner. I remember
true.
just like not too long ago, you brought all your stuff down, and
That's true.
we co-created some killer music.
That's
Now,
true.
are you wanting, because I can actually really relate to that right now, and I'm trying to figure out a way to tell my subconscious that I am not, I'm not doing this alone, so I can gain more of a social network. Like, I wouldn't be here today if I wasn't, like, making that switch in my mind.
Right.
Because we don't want to do it alone. You know, we want to share this life. But I mean, maybe some people do, and that's okay. But I still think deep down we need social interaction. We need a masculine, a feminine. We need all these things
Agree
and
with that.
to just feel loved and be loved. You know, without that,
To feel belonging,
yeah.
You know, there needs to be some kind of friction or some, you know, kind of, doesn't need to be, but you know, duality and friction kind of adds this, you know, resistance where it's like, you know you're here because you can feel it. And it's like,
Right.
you can play games with word games and all, but that's kind of my point. It's like, just with,
Well, would you'd be
We're
surprised
gangs
at
with
the
being-
power that the isolation of hermitage can have too, though.
Yeah.
The power that isolation has?
Intentional.
Hermitage,
Yeah,
Yeah,
like hermitage, like being a monk or a hermit or.
Oh, yeah.
You know-
Asceticism, basically.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
What about a link?
Just people would be surprised at just how much you can find your own power there, without
Right.
the distractions, the waves, and the worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's cool, but there's, I mean, still varieties to spice of life.
Yeah.
You know,
We're all
Like,
here.
it was fun, but the jumping in is more fun.
It's good bandwidth to get.
Hell yeah.
We didn't want everything to be perfectly symmetrical.
Yeah.
We said, just off center, just a little bit, just off tilt, and we can iterate out anything from there. So we appreciate the beauty of looking at the awkwardness of something, because somehow it looks like it's composed well. It's like, why is that so?
That's what I'm saying.
Why is it so beautiful?
I've really done a good job at finding comfort in awkwardness this last year and a half.
Yay.
Nice. Sounds like you've been learning some surrender.
Yeah, it's big steps right there.
Not for my whole life, bro.
Well, I know, but like it's been easier. It's been easier to be like, this is really cool. All this stumbling is going on.
Awesome, guys. You want to wrap up there for our recording?
Oh yeah, I think we're over 8:30 by now. Sure.
Thank ourselves because we're all beautiful.
Hey man, bro.
Love you, everybody.
Who's landing, baby?